So let's get right into it with, this is actually a request. Granted, it was a request I received several months ago, but finally I'm going to get to what my good friend Oliver asked, which is a stubble man makeup tutorial. So this is basically going to show you how to make yourself look more manly. And when I say manly, I mean the more traditional masculine traits of square features and stubble. Obviously not all men look like that, not all men need to look like that. A man looks however a man wants to look, but this is for that in particular. So to start with, we start with primer. While all of our primer is setting, I always find eyebrows to be a good place to start. So to make them more masculine, you really want to obviously darken them, roughen them up a bit, and then also extend them both inward and outward. And we're gonna come back to that, but you can see here how much more of this eyebrow there is. We're gonna do the other one real quick. Okay, now that our eyebrows are nice and fat, we can do more to them. So we're gonna take a neutral matte, it has to be matte, that's very important, brown. I'm actually gonna use this flat brush, just kind of lightly fill it up with color. And you want it to be a touch more natural, you don't want it to be too clean because, as we all know, men are filthy. Next we're gonna lay down our base. I'm just using a little bit of BB cream. If you're using foundation, use even less because you just want this for blending purposes. You really don't want to look like you're wearing too much makeup. So you're gonna take your little sponge, which unfortunately still has a lot of your liquid highlighter on it. That's not coming out. You just do little dibby dabs. Little dibby dabs. Dabble do. I had an art teacher that used to say that, dabble do. And then you dippy dab all over your face. Next, bit of concealer. Use it on all that acne. Do a little bit under your eye. You don't need to do too much because we're going to be working under the eye. I know a lot of people use their fingers so it like stays warm, but I really don't like touching my face, so I use a concealer brush. But if you don't have a concealer brush, or if you like using your fingers, or if you prefer to use the sponge, it is all about whatever works for you. Every step in this tutorial is optional. If you just want to do your eyebrows all fat and happy, just do your eyebrows. If you just want to put on a concealer, just do that. It is your face. Nobody else gets to tell you what to do with your face. Next, we're going to do the base contour, for which I'm going to use like a right proper Tarte contour stick. And here's where things start to get a bit different. Like, you do want to do your regular old cheek contour. You want to suck in just a little bit and bring it down wherever that natural line appears. Like that. You want it to be very straight, very angular, and then I wouldn't say connect, but kind of imagine this line down here and then bring it down around the jawline. Bring it all the way around your jaw, back up to your other ear, and then do the same on the other side. So you kind of have these two rhombus-ish shapes. Give your chin a bit of a cleft, strengthen that up. Defining it under there will make the chin look stronger. I don't know why the little cupid's bow bit works, but it does. And for the nose, you know, this is a pretty simple contour, but then you actually want to bring it up underneath your eyebrow, like so. And this will work on more later, because you really want to draw your eyes down. You want to make the space between your eyebrow and your eyelashes look a lot smaller. Last, for this part of the contouring, you're going to draw some circles around your temples, kind of fill those in, and then you're going to draw a line down, kind of tracing your hairline, getting gratuitous amounts of the cream contour into your hair. So draw the circle, bring it down, and you're ready for a night out on the club. Just kidding. blend time. So now that you've done a basic contour that would put any Kardashian to shame, we get to move on to the big guns. So, we're gonna move into costume makeup now, which is why I've got this little Ben Nye shadow wheel. This is when I break my rule about touching my face, because really the best way to apply the Ben Nye is with your fingers. So we're gonna start with this lightest shade and go right under the eyebrows where I was talking about how you want to lower the eye down. Next we're going to take this kind of purpley-ish color, I guess. Take it on your pinky finger and squint up your eye like this, and this little pouch, you're going to color that. Because whereas when you do feminine makeup, you kind of want the attention to be on the top of your eye, with this you really want the attention to be beneath your eye. Doesn't super matter if it matches particularly well. Natural faces don't match necessarily on either side. So now you've just got kind of that definition. I hear men are tired a lot, tired of carrying the burden of the patriarchy on their backs or something. Alright. Next we're going to take this super dark color, and if you're wondering why it's all speckled, you'll find out in a second. And you're going to just tap it in on the side of your nose. You don't want to lay down too much pigment, like I just did, because now it looks like your nose is dirty. Take a larger finger and blend that out. And this is to draw attention to your nose, make it look a little bit bigger and more prominent on your face. Go ahead and take this somewhat reddish color, put it right in here. We're just going back over a whole bunch of what we've done. Gonna come back to the chin, cleft it a bit more, and now to the cheeks again. So, we're actually gonna take a little bit of everything. We're gonna start with this pinkish color, and we're gonna use that higher up on the cheek, almost like a touch of blush, or a bruise, whichever. Now, some people do powder sets in between layers of this, which is totally fine and will help you from not accidentally smearing off the color that you've already laid down. But personally, I don't like applying cream over powder. It doesn't feel right to me. Now that we've got a nice manly contour, we are in fact going to do something of a powder set. We're going to start with a bit of bronzer. This is just a Bare Minerals pressed powder. I don't mess with loose pigments. Basically regular bronzer. Use it to intensify the contour a little bit, but also give your face a little bit of that ruddiness, because like men go out in the sun or something. I don't know. It also softens it, so if you have any harsh lines left over, it should make it look a bit softer and a bit more natural. Unless you're like me and you just left a weird white stripe right here, then you're just screwed, so give up. We're gonna do a powder set of whatever foundation powder color is yours. Mine is whitest of white, I believe. That will be our base for the fun part. If you want, I usually do this because my face is kind of aggressively colorless. I do a little bit of blush, but it's something very pale and definitely matte. Everything has to be matte. Men don't wear glitter. So it just looks like I'm alive and not a corpse. Next, Next, we're gonna do just a touch of extra work on our eyes. We're gonna go to this kind of matte light purple and do that underneath. Kind of like guy liner, I guess, to draw some attention to the eyes. And we're gonna take a little angled brush back into that matte brown. Just do a little bit of it on the top. With male makeup, the main thing to remember is that the emphasis needs to be on the bottom. Leaving the eyes alone for now, we're going to do something not a lot of people think about, which is the lips. You may be thinking, that's not lipstick, that's concealer. You're right. Since men have paler, thinner lips, you just rub some concealer over it to keep the attention away from your lips. And you hope to God that you don't have any shimmer still left on your lips from yesterday that has now been mixed in and become lipstick. And now the real fun begins. The beard. For this, you're going to need a stipple sponge, a very dark color, and the browns we had before. Now, my very dark color is actually a very dark purple, which I use for under eye circles sometimes, but for this case, it's not going to be too much of a problem because we're not going to use very much of it. We're actually just going to take a little bit of it. If you think you've picked up too much, dab off the excess on your hand, and we're going to outline our jaw from the sideburns down. When you're up here, it's okay to press and drag, but as you get down, you're going to want to switch to dabbing. Otherwise, if you drag around the jawline, it'll look really, really fake, but you can get away with it when you've got a bit of hair up here to cover it up. And part of the reason we didn't go back to contouring around here is that the stubble actually does a lot of the contour for you. Bless its heart. You could stop here. Some guys just wear a chin strap. Not saying it's a good look, but you could. That done, we now go to our browns again. These are the same browns we were using earlier. Now, if I was a proper person, I would have one really nice brown that works with my hair color and that I just use. But I use all of them, and I tell myself that it works because hair naturally has highlights and shadows, but in actuality, I'm just lazy. So, load this sucker up, and then dab it out again, because you actually don't want too much. And then you're going to go back to where you were before, but now start working your way out. You're going to fill in essentially the places between where you did your jawline contour and your cheek contour. You're going to fill all that in. But not just that. If you have a harsh line here, it'll give you away in an instant, so you're going to come down. This doesn't need to have a definite finish. Just kind of dab it out. If you want to give yourself a full neck beard, by all means. Don't know why you would do that, but you can. Filling it up, make sure you can use the corner to get details like coming up here and the moustache. Don't worry too much about getting the lines exact. Facial hair isn't exact. If your stubble looks like it was painted on, which it is, it'll look really fake. So don't be afraid to leave some patches. Don't be afraid for your lines to be a little bit wonky. Maybe do be afraid to get it into where you split your lip earlier today because it stings. But just kind of play with it. This is all about what you want to do. These are just tips. If all you want to do is the stubble, if you can't be bothered with the rest of it, then by all means, just stubble some on there. It is your face, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Maybe all you really want to do is get rid of your lips. Get some concealer and put it on your lips. This is America. We're still technically a free country, so you better seize these opportunities while you can before you-know-who turns us into a fascist state. Well, I'm sorry if I gotten too political. So I think I'm about done with that. I feel pretty good about that. Is it the most even thing in the world? No. But does it need to be? Also no. That's the basics of how you can make yourself look more masculine, manly. The most important things to remember are square your features, lower your eyebrows, and get rid of your lips. And then the stubble, these stipple sponges are like $1 from Party City, and then any form of grease paint or cream brown makeup will work. So I hope this was useful to anyone who has the desire to make themselves look more masculine, and to anyone who doesn't, I hope this was somewhat entertaining to watch me do this to myself. And this episode has been brought to you by the poor, unfortunate new student in my Chinese class that does not know what he's gotten into by being in our group for our video project. If you haven't seen my previous Chinese video project, it's on my channel. Go ahead and take a look. You'll recognize it because the title is in Chinese, and this look features in it. Happy VEDIF!